Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Continuing Canto 7, The Science of God, Chapter 10, Prahlad, the best among exalted devotees, Text 23.
Pitriyam chastam Pitriyam chastam atishta
Vitriyam jastanam atishta
Yatoktam brahmavadibhi
Yatoktam brahmavadibhi
Maya veshamanastata
Maya yashamanastata
Guru karmani matparaha
Guru Dharmani Madparaha. After performing the ritualistic ceremonies, take charge of your father's kingdom, sit upon the throne, and do not be disturbed by materialistic activities. Please keep your mind fixed upon me, Madparaha. Without transgressing the injunctions of the Vedas, as a matter of formality, you may perform your particular duty. So he says, do it as a formality, not that you get involved in it. And primarily, once you become a pure devotee, you actually don't have to do any of the karma kanda activities or even your duties actually. Based on regulative principles, duties. So that's the emphasis the Lord is saying, but he says, do it as a formality because people are watching you. So then in the purport Srila Prabhupada says, one who becomes a devotee, he no longer has any duty to the Vedic regulative principles because he's already beyond that already. So there's no need to do. One has many duties to perform, but if one becomes fully devoted to the Lord, he no longer has any such obligations. Right? So he quotes the 11th Canto verse where it says that one has no more debtor to the forefathers, sages, human society, common man, or living entity. Okay. In the next paragraph, Srila Prabhupada says, the Lord advised Prahlad Maharaj to follow the regulative principles, for since he was going to be king, others would follow his example. Because we know that from the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, so have to do it, otherwise people will follow the king. And if the king is not setting standards, then they will also won't set any standards. So he has to set exemplary acts, just for the sake of the common man. Okay, text 24.
Shri Narada Vacha
Shri Narada Vacha
Prahradopi Tata Chakre
Praladopi Tata Chakre
Pituryat Samparyakam
Vituryat Samparayikam
Yataha Bhagavan Rajan
Yataha Bhagavan Rajan
Abhishekto Dvijatibihi
Abhishekto Dvijatibihi. Sri Narada Muni continued, thus as the Supreme Personality of Godhead ordered, Prahlad Maharaj performed the ritualistic ceremonies for his father. O King Yudhishthira, he was then enthroned in the kingdom of Hiranyakashipu as directed by the Brahmanas. Text 25.
Prasada Samukham Drishtva
Prasada Sammukam Dristva Brahma Naraharim Harim
Stutva Vagvi Pavitradhi
Stuttvavagvi Pavitradihi
Praha Devadibhivrataha
Raha Devadibhivrataha. Lord Brahma, surrounded by the other demigods, was bright-faced because the Lord was pleased. Thus he offered prayers to the Lord with transcendental words. So he was happy also. Now the demons did. Text 26.
Sri Brahmavacha
Sri Brahma Vacha
Deva Deva Kila Dhyaksha
Deva Deva Kila Dhyaksha
Bhuta Bhavana Purvaja
Bhuta Bhavana Purvaja
Dishtyate Nihata Papo
Drishyate Nihata Papo
Loka Santapano Shuraha
Loka Santapano Sura. Lord Brahma said, "Oh, Supreme Lord of all lords, proprietor of the entire universe, O benedictor of all living entities, O original person, Adi Purusha, because of our good fortune, you have now killed this sinful demon who was giving trouble to the entire universe." So everybody is happy that he's gone. Continuing, text 27.
Yosho Labdha Varo Matto
Yasau labda varo matto
Bhavadhyo Mama Shrishtivi
navadyo mama shrishtibihi
Tapo Yoga Palo Naptataha
tapo yoga balonnaddaha
Samasta Nigamam Aham
samasta niyamanahan. This demon, Hiranyakashipu, received from me the benediction that he would not be killed by any living being within my creation. With this assurance and with strength derived from austerities and mystic power, he became excessively proud and transgressed all the Vedic injunctions. Text 28.
Dishtya Tattanaya Sadhu
Dhisyadanaya sadur
Mahabhagavator Bakaha
mahabhagavator bhakaha
Toya Vimochito Richo
vaya vimochito mrityur
Dishtya Tvam Samito Dhuna
dhisya tvam samitodana. By great fortune, Hiranyakashipu's son, Prahlad Maharaj, has now been released from death. Although he is a child, he is an exalted devotee. Now he is fully under the protection of your lotus feet. Text 29.
Etadvapuste Bhagavan
Etadvapuste Bhagavan
Dhyayata Paramatmanaha
Jayata Paramatmanaha
Sarvato Goptra Satra Santrasan
Sarvato Goptri Santrasan
Vrichorapi Jigamsataha
Mrityurapi Jigamsataha. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are the Supreme Soul. If one meditates upon your transcendental body, you naturally protect him from all sources of fear, even the imminent danger of death.
Link.
I sent.
Yeah, it's not
working.
working.
You okay?
1 second. I'm just waiting.
Okay. We will wait.
ये कितने प्यार से आके आपके पास बैठता है गोदी में, किसी बच्चे के उसके पास नहीं जाता, बट आपके पास कितने प्यार से आके बैठता है. आपने इसको बचपन से खिलाया है.
Yeah, it should work, no problem.
Is it? Yeah, now it's
Hello.
Okay. Again, I'll read the translation. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Soul, one meditates upon the transcendental body, you naturally protect him from all sources of fear, even the imminent danger of death. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, everyone is sure to die. For no one is excused from the hands of death, which is but a feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mrityu sarva harascha. Now you know that when you are in your preaching efforts or you meet people, you talk to them, they don't want to hear about death. Right? Most people don't want to hear. So generally, the ordinary people don't want to hear that. All they want to hear is how you can enjoy. So it is necessary to bring them to this understanding that everyone in embodied personalities are destined to die. Yeah? And therefore, we have to use it in the proper way. And when they accept that, then they will think, they become a little bit sober. and they may question a few things. But unless we can extend our mercy to them, they will continue suffering this material life.
Yeah.
So this part of our Srila Prabhupada's desire that we help other people also. Okay. So Prabhupada quotes from the Brahma Samhita, when a devotee is fully surrendered to the Lord, then it's karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajan. That means he's not under the laws of the karma, or the karma is burnt away, like that. So he says even a devotee's scheduled death can be avoided by the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. God protects the devotee even from the extreme danger of death. So just like Prahlad Maharaj is, in ordinary situation, if there's an ordinary person, they are dead because of Prahlad Maharaj. The Lord intervened like that. So the Lord can, schedule our death, or we don't have to die. We can go back to Godhead. That's the other understanding we can get. Text 30.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha
Sri Bhagavan Vacha
Maivam Vibho Suranante
Maivam Vibho Suranante
Deya Padma Sambhava
Deya Padma Sambhava
Varaha Krura Nisarkanam
Vara Krura Nisadhanam
Ahinam Amritam Yatam
Ahinam Amritam Yata. The personality of Godhead replied, my dear Lord Brahma, O great Lord born from the lotus flower, just as it is dangerous to feed milk to a snake, so it is dangerous to give benedictions to demons who are by nature ferocious and jealous. I warn you not to give such benedictions to any demon. So here you can see the Lord wasn't happy with this kind of benediction. So in the same way, when we are interacting with different people, or even congregation people, we shouldn't give them, a blanket statement, I'll do this for you. Yeah. Then you're going to have lots of problems. We will have to always say, we will see according to what the situation is, then I cannot promise you anything. We have to be very careful. Right? But let's say they have some issues, somebody died in their arm, they're asking a garland, then you can say, I will get the garland for you. And if there's no garland, I'll make a garland for you. Like that. So those kind of situation you have to see. But if they say, something that is not proper, then you should be very openly and say, no, we don't do those things. Because oftentimes devotees will say, yeah, no problem, we'll do for you to do. And then they cannot do, and then get into big trouble. And then they'll put in the Facebook and all, this devotees lie and all those things. Now, it's a reality. So we shouldn't promise everyone everything, Right? Or maybe in Janmashtami, they'll say, I gave donations, so I want to sit in front, right? In front, right? And then you'll say, yeah, no problem. But on Janmashtami day, you have all the guests of honor sitting. And then this guy will say, I want to sit there. And you say, no, only guests of honor. Then they will feel in the heart, man, this guy lied to me like that. So we have to be careful.
I've heard in the lecture, but I'm not remembering. Lord Brahma, after this, again gave a benediction.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. Ravana. Yeah.
But Ravana was easily killed by...
Still, he was causing havoc, right?
Okay. And another thing, in the previous verse, you said that we will not die, we will go back to Godhead state. But again, we are dying, right? We have to leave this body then. Only.
True, but the point is, you don't have to take birth again, go through the whole process, right? In general, when you are doing devotional service, you are not really dying. Yeah? You are actually doing eternal service. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah. You're not really dying. So you don't, for you, death and going back to God is the same. Yeah, you continue your service like that. So for a pure devotee, he doesn't think about death. No? So remember the first canto, Narada, when he said it was like lightning and thunder, instantaneous. So it's like that. So a devotee is nothing. We don't feel the death like ordinary people go through, suffering and so on. Devotees don't go through such things.
See, the Lord is here saying, I warn you.
Yeah.
Also, huh?
Yeah, of course he is warning, but then they are also his devotees, so he's kind in any way. But in any case, we can understand why he's warning, because asuras just go havoc. They cause terrible problems. Text 31. Of course, Brahma's defense would be he's not asura, he's a rakshasa, so I gave him boon to Ravana. You can see in one case they all related to him, right? His grandson, and Ravana is also like great grandson or something like that. Yeah. All right, text 31.
Srinarada Uvacha
Srinarada
Ityuktva Bhagavan Rajasham
Bhagavan Rajams
Tataschantar Dadehari Adrishya Sarvabhutanam Pujita Parameshtina.
Narada Muni continued, O King Yudhishthira, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is not visible to an ordinary human being, spoke in this way, instructing Lord Brahma. Then, being worshipped by Brahma, the Lord disappeared from that place. Text 32.
Tata Sampujya Shirasha
Tata Sampujya Shirasya
Bhavande
Bhavante
Parameshtina
Parameshtinam
Bhavam Prajapatin Devan
Prajapati Devan
Prarado Bhagavatkala
Prahlad Maharaj then worshipped church bells. Prahlad Maharaj then worshipped and offered prayers to all the demigods such as Brahma, Shiva, and the Prajapatis, who are all parts of the Lord. Text 33.
Tata Kavyadi Sardam
Tata Kavyadivi Sardam
Munivi Kamalasana
Munivi Kamalasana
Daityanandanavanamcha
Daityanandanavanam cha
Prahradam Akalotpatim
Prahadam Akarotpatim. Thereafter, along with Sukracharya and other great saints, Lord Brahma, whose seed is on the lotus flower, made Prahlada the king of all the demons and giants in the universe. Kamalasana. Kamalasana is Lord Brahma's another name. He's one who sits on the asan of lotus flower. Like that. So here you see Prahlad Maharaj is made the king of all his father was controlling. Okay? Text 34.
Vatenandya Tato Deva
Inamvyatato deva
Prayujya
Prayujya
Paramashisha
Paramashisha
Swadamani
Swadhamani Yudhrajan Brahmadya Pratipujitaha. O King Yudhishthira, after all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma were properly worshipped by Prahlad Maharaj, they offered Prahlad their utmost benedictions and then returned to their respective abodes. So they all went back to do their original duties they were not able to do previously. Text 35.
Evam cha Parshato Vishnu
Evam cha Parshato Vishnu
Putratvam Prapito Dastite
Putratvam Prapito Dite
Hridhi Stitena Harina
Vidistitena Harina
Vairabhavena Tavato
Vairabhavena Tavato. Thus the two associates of Lord Vishnu, who had become Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, the sons of Diti, were both killed. By illusion, they had thought that the Supreme Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, was their enemy. I remember we discussed this. Huh? There's no such thing as enemy. We are all servants of Krishna. Okay. Text 36.
Punascha viprasapena
Punascha viprasapena
Rakshasauta babhuvatu
Rakshasauta babhuvatu
Kumbhakarna dasagrivo
Kumbhakarnadashagrivo
Hatau tau Rama Vikrame
Tautau Rama Vikrame. Being cursed by the Brahmanas, the same two associates took birth again as Kumbhakarna and the 10-headed Ravana. These two Rakshasas were killed by Lord Ramachandra's extraordinary power. So they will come back again. Narada is telling Yudhishthira Maharaj what had happened here. So to tell Yudhishthira who these people were. They are taking birth as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, now as Kumbhakarna and Ravana, like that. Text 37.
About your question.
Yeah.
Why was Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu killed by different avatars of the Lord, and Ravana and Kumbhakarna and Shishupal and Dantavakra, both of them were killed by one incarnation.
Ram?
Yeah, Vani and Krishna.
They are different incarnations, all of them.
But I think you mean
No, like so Hiranyakashipu and
You have to speak slowly so others can know what you are talking about.
Oh.
So like Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were killed by Varaha and Narasimha, right?
Yeah.
But Ravana and Kumbhakarna were killed by only Ram.
Okay.
And Shishupal and Dantavakra were only killed by Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
So like all of them are killed by like one person.
The same person comes in different ways to kill the.
Yeah, but no, but
You're saying about one avatar must kill two. There's no rule like that.
that was a condition for most of them.
No, there's no such rule. There's no such.
That was like a condition.
Lord is
It's
Lord
like
can
math.
do whatever he
They were
wants.
more powerful.
It's like math, as you.
No. This is. I mean, it sounds like a very interesting question, but that's not the reason. For example, when Hiranyaksha was putting the planet under the water, then the Lord had to take a form like a Varaha to go underneath to bring the planet out. So at that time, Hiranyaksha fought with him. So the Lord killed him at that time. So then Hiranyakashipu became very smart and he asked for boons so that he cannot be killed by any animal and so on. So therefore the Lord had to come like Narasimha to show that you cannot escape. Right? So that is the reason he did. Whereas Ravana and Kumbhakarna thought they were better than human beings. So, but Lord Ram, in the form of a guise of a human being, he showed them, I will still kill you. And he killed them. And similarly, when Krishna was around, Shishupal and Dantavakra always considered Krishna to be a cowherd boy and not a cowherd man and not a Kshatriya or a magician. They thought this guy had some power. So they didn't think he was very strong. So when you look down on someone, you don't care what they are. But the Lord, anyway, in any case, the Lord showed them that he's the supreme person like that. In the case of Hiranyakashipu, because of the boon he asked, so the Lord wanted to respect Brahma's benediction and then at the same time to show this man that even you can ask whatever you want, but I am still superior in many ways. Okay? Text 37.
Shayana Yudhi Nirbina
Sayana Yudhi Nirbina
Hridaya Rama Shayaka Tachittau Jahatur Deham Yata Praktana Janmani.
Pierced by the arrows of Lord Ramachandra, both Kumbhakarna and Ravana lay on the ground and left their bodies, fully absorbed in thought of the Lord, just as they had in their previous births as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Text 38.
Tavehata Punyajato Shishupala Karushajao Haravaranu Bandena Pashyata Pasitaste samiyatu.
Pasitaste samiyatu. Samiyatu. They both took birth again in human society. So this is the third time. As Shishupala and Dantavakra, and continued in the same enmity toward the Lord. It is they who merged into the body of the Lord in your presence. So this is the beginning of the whole story. So now he's ending the story. Why he merged. So now he's telling him this is the reason. In the Purport, Srila Prabhupada nicely discusses this situation. Vairanu bandena. Acting like the Lord's enemy is also beneficial for the living entity. Kamadveshat bhayat sneha. Whether in lusty desire, anger, fear, or envy of the Lord, somehow or other, as recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami, tasmat kenapi upayena. One should become attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and ultimately achieve the goal of returning home back to Godhead. Then Srila Prabhupada says, what then is to be said of one who is related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a servant, friend, father, mother, or conjugal lover? So Prabhupada is actually preempting the question that the Pandavas are in one of these categories. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj is thinking Prahlad is so wonderful. So therefore Srila Prabhupada is saying, what to speak of one who's already related to that Supreme Lord. Now, even though Prabhupada says you can go back to Godhead by thinking in this way, lusty, anger, fear, devotees don't think like that. And we shouldn't aspire to be in this situation also. We are not enemies of the Lord. But you can see, even though if you're enemy, the Lord is so merciful, particularly in this avatar, Krishna, he will give them liberation or take them back to Godhead. Okay, text 39.
Ena purvagritam yattad.
Ena purvagritam yattad.
Rajana Krishna Vairina.
Rajana Krishna Vairina.
Jahustente tadatmana.
Jahustente tadatmana.
Hitaha pesha krito. Hita pesha skrito yata.
Not only Shishupala and Dantavakra, but also many other kings who acted as enemies of Krishna attained salvation at the time of death. Because they thought of the Lord, they received spiritual bodies and forms the same as his. Just as worms captured by a black drone obtain the same type of body as the drone. In the first canto also, Srila Prabhupada mentions how the battle of Kurukshetra, everyone who saw Krishna, the Kauravas as well as the side of Pandavas, they all went back to God because they saw the beautiful form of Krishna in the battlefield. So it's good in one sense, but we don't want to be enemies because it won't be as nice. Generally, those who go back to Godhead but killed by Krishna goes to Vaikuntha Loka. Purport. The mystery of yogic meditation is explained here. Real yogis always meditate on the form of Vishnu within their hearts. Consequently, at the time of death, they give up their bodies while thinking of the form of Vishnu and thus attain Vishnu Loka. This is the yogis. Vaikuntha Loka, where they receive bodily features the same as those of the Lord. From the 6th canto, we have already learned that when the Vishnu Dutas came from Vaikuntha to deliver Jamila, they looked exactly like Vishnu with 4 hands and the same features as Vishnu. Therefore, we may conclude that if one practices thinking of Vishnu and is fully absorbed in thinking of him, at the time of death, one returns home back to Godhead. Even enemies of Krishna who thought of Krishna in fear, Bhaya, such as King Kamsa, received bodies in a spiritual identity similar to that of the Lord. Okay, so 400 form. Now, in Vaikuntha, how do you know who is Vishnu then? Okay, one is Srivatsa. But everyone looks the same, no? From our point of view, they may look the same, but from their point of view, they all look different. Right? Just like if somebody has never seen Indians, when they see all Indians, they'll say, "Oh, you all look the same." So it's like that.
To us too, right? In the beginning, I used to look at all the Chinese and think, okay, what's the difference? They all look so identical.
Yeah. So same for them also. They say all of you look the same. Text 40.
Yata yata bhagavato
Yata yata bhagavato
bhaktya paramaya vida
Bhaktya paramaya vida
nripaschaityadaya satyam
Nirpaschaityadaya satyam
Hare Chintaya-yayu.
Hare Chintaya-yayu. By devotional service, pure devotees who incessantly think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead receive bodies similar to His. So this is by pure devotees. This is known as Sarupya Mukti. Although Shishupala, Dantavakra and other kings thought of Krishna as an enemy, they also achieved the same result. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada writes, in connection with Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Sanatana Goswami, it is explained that a devotee should externally execute his routine devotional service in a regular way, but should always inwardly think of the particular mellow in which he is attracted to the service of the Lord. Now this one will only manifest in your heart when you are successfully chanting properly and doing service properly. And so that your relationship will be revealed to you in your heart. And then internally you can meditate on that relationship. Otherwise you cannot artificially think, oh, I'm a gopi, I'm a this, I'm that, I'm a cow, and things like that. It's all nonsense. Right? This will manifest itself automatically. Provided you are always doing it properly and following the four regular principles, chanting nicely, doing service, then it will manifest in your heart. It will manifest like that. Okay. Now, Madhvacharya discussing about how all these personalities who can go to the spiritual world and take a different form like that, he also quotes about the demons. Pondrake narake chaiva salve kanse cha rukmini avistastu hare bhaktas tad bhaktya harima pire. Pondraka, Narakasura, Shalva, and Kamsa were all inimical toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because all these kings constantly thought of him, they achieved the same liberation. Sarupya Mukti. The Jnana Bhakta, the devotee who follows the path of Jnana, also attains the same destination. If even the enemies of the Lord achieve salvation by constantly thinking about the Lord, what is to be said of pure devotees who always engage in the Lord's service and who think of nothing but the Lord in every activity? So pure devotees will go directly to the relation in the five rasas, like that. Whereas the others, they'll just get only the Vaikuntha liberation. We are inimical and so on. Of course, there are people who want to be in the awe and reverence platform also. For them also, they will go directly to Vaikuntha.
So I had a question. So what do they, here we talk about reciprocation of love, right? Between Shyam Sundar and the devotee, right? But what about Vaikuntha Loka? So what kind of interaction do they have with Vishnu?
It's a lot of singing, glorifying the Lord, fanning, all this service like that.
Then who do the cooking and all that?
They also have cooks and so on.
So then it's again like...
it's very same, but it's in awe and reverence.
Same here also, right? With Krishna also we'll have awe and reverence.
No,
right?
no.
At least if you're in Shanta Rasa.
No, Shantaras is no, yes.
Can I kind of answer that question?
Yeah, you can answer, no problem.
So like what I think is that in Vaikuntha Loka, it's more of like servant king.
What?
Because like they all serve him.
Yeah.
And then like they do it out of awe and reverence. So like they're like they look up to like Krishna, and then in the Golok Vrindavan, they have like personal relationships with them, I guess. So like they have like a mother and father relationship, or they have like
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I understand what other rasas are like, but in Vaikuntha Loka, why can't it be like that? Even Vishnu will want that kind of love, right? Where he can have the mood of,
Yes, but it's still very much in fear.
right? Then who's going to be personal with him?
Whereas in the Goloka, they don't know that he is supreme. Krishna is not supreme to them. Krishna is just another person, a good friend that they cannot give up on. They want to see him every day, but they don't see him as Supreme Lord. Whereas in Vaikuntha, they always see him as a Supreme Lord.
I agree. So from Vishnu's
So
point
how
of view,
don't you understand why?
No. What my question is, from Vishnu's point of view, how is he having that rasa with the people he's around with, right? It's surrounded with. In the sense, like, he cannot get personal with anybody. Nobody can get close to him either, right?
No, that's the why. That's the reason why he's in that form, so that he can have that rasa. Whereas as Krishna, he has more intimate rasas.
Intimacy.
Yeah. So that's the reason they want that kind of relationship, and he, in that form, he likes that kind of relationship.
So if a person wants to
And
move
if
to another
the Narayana forms are thinking like they want more intimate, then they will take avatars and come down to have a special relationship. Now, so yeah, all this kind of relationship, everything is concentrated in Krishna. Okay.
Intimate.
So let's say if in one reverent state, if they're like done and then they want to like have a different
Very rarely this happens. They're all very happy where they are.
Satisfaction.
Completely satisfied. Very rarely the jiva will think maybe I want to have more relation. That very rare. The case in point, the reason why I say is if you have read Brihad Bhagavatamrita, you'll see Gopakumar goes to different. He goes to Vaikuntha and he's not happy. So that may be possible that some entity may be there and not happy, and he may progress to Goloka. But in general, whoever goes to liberation within any Vaikuntha, they generally are happy. They are completely satisfied. They are full. Right? No such thing as they miss something. No. Only if he's temporarily situated in Vaikuntha from Goloka, then they'll feel they miss. Like Gopaguna Kumar, even though he went to Dwaraka, he wasn't happy. He saw Krishna, but he said, I'm not so happy with this form. Until he went to Goloka Vrindavan, then he became satisfied. So that's how the relationship. The whole Vaikuntha universe is such that no matter what kind of relationship you have, there is a place for you, and with the Lord. And so the Lord takes different avatars because we all have different kinds of desires, and those are fulfilled through those avatars. And he also gets that relationship from that individual.
So then in that case, the devotees of ISKCON movement, so are you saying that they're all fixed in...
It is said that those who follow in this will go to Krishna. It is said like that. But you have to go, then you will tell me.
We'll be there before us. We'll meet
Then
you
you
there.
can tell me.
Hare Krishna.
You only have to give us the green card. Okay, you can come.
So,
Jai.
yeah, it's like that.
Finally.
It's taken avatar to come. Like that. For each individual, the Lord has a special relationship, whether it's Vaikuntha relationship or Goloka relationship. It's unique. You don't have the same relationship anywhere. It may be defined as Dasya also, but it's different. It's a slight change. Each one is slightly different. Like even serving the Lord, someone will cook, someone will bring it to, for example, in Goloka, someone is cooking in the kitchen, and then Radharani is overseeing, making sure everything's fine. She'll give to someone else. They'll carry that, they'll bring it, and someone else will put it on the table. Mother Yashoda is overseeing like that. So there's quite a lot of people involved in just to bring it from the kitchen to the thing. So that's unique service of bringing is only for that devotee. Like that. So I'm just giving an example, but that's similarly in Vaikuntha is like that also. But it's more like majestic. Yeah. There's more like singing Purusha Suktas, they are taking from one place to another, and they all like very careful, even though they will have nice walks with the Lord, but they won't have like Krishna jumping up and wrestling. No, Narayana doesn't do those things. Like
So
that.
we can add that point also, know that Krishna has those 4 qualities extra. In this, there is one quality that he has a very intimate pastimes with his devotee, where Narayana doesn't have.
Doesn't have that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can say
Flute.
yeah. That is to distinguish between Narayana and Krishna. Yeah, yeah. You can say that. Okay. Let's go text 41.
Akyatam sarvametate.
Akyatam sarvametate.
Yanam tvam pariprithavan.
Yamam tvam pariprishavam.
Dana goshastu stadinam. Nam hare satyam apidvisham.
Everything you asked of me about how Shishupala and others attained salvation, although they were inimical, has now been explained to you by me. So the whole pastime is finished. Text 42.
Esha brahmanya devasya.
Esha brahmanya devasya.
Krishnasya cha mahatmana.
Krishnasya cha mahatmana.
Avatara kata punya.
Avatara kata punya.
Vadoyatra didetaya.
Vadoyatra didetaya.
In this narration about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, various expansions or incarnations of the Lord have been described. And the killing of the 2 demons, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, has also been described. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes the verse from Brahma Samhita, where the Lord comes in so many different forms. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, such eternal, blissful, and all-knowing forms of the Lord cannot be understood by the academic wisdom of the Vedas. That means simple knowledge is not going to allow you to understand the Lord. But they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. The difference is one is more intellectual. So with your intellectual capacity, you're not going to understand the Lord. But how do you understand? Through loving relationship. So that's why we do service. Service is actually an extension of the love. Actually, by doing service, you are actually develop how to love the Lord dearly. Otherwise, it will be just intellectual. Oh, I have to do. Okay, I have to do Aarti 7 o'clock. We'll do and come back, and that's it. There is no relationship, no deep understanding. But when you do it, what this Krishna says, Bhaktya Mam Avichara. So by that affection, you can understand him. The whole idea is, unless you understand him, then you will surrender nicely, no? If you don't understand why, then you won't surrender at all. If it's an intellectual thing, it's just, you can quote all the things, you can tell, this. And you can even explain everything, but if your heart is not in that, then there's no connection. There's no connection. So essentially, Srila Prabhupada wants us to understand religion means developing how to love the Lord. That is all religion means. So we have forgotten how to love, but by chanting, but by doing devotional service, you learn how to love again. Or we learn how to truly love. Now we love everything. We love my car, love my dog, love my house, like that. But those are all temporary things and not true love. So Prabhupada says, therefore, with academic wisdom, you can study and so on, you cannot understand. It's only the devotees who understand who Krishna is. Like that. Of course, we read the Shastra, we get to understand that this person is the Supreme Person. That we need to know. First, we have to know who's the Supreme Person. Then we develop a relationship through service. And in doing the service willingly, your heart becomes softened and you learn how to love, actually.
So service is the stepping stone to get.
Service is chanting and service. Most for us in Kali Yuga is chanting. But service is required to keep our purity. Because you chant 2 hours and you can do for another 22 hours of nonsense. So therefore service will balance, and then we need to read to have some knowledge about the Lord Himself, like that. Okay?
Service also with the right consciousness.
Of course, in the beginning you may do it, but just like Prabhupada explains in Nectar of Devotion, in the beginning one will go to Mangala Arati, it's very difficult. But constantly they are doing it, they develop affection for the Lord, they will be running to Mangala Arati.
Yeah. That is the test.
Yeah, that's the test. So until you don't run, you know you're not there. Like that. It's like
I have
that.
to drive though from my head.
You have to run if you try to get the temple, you have to run.
Yeah, but be careful, there's cars going and all. So.
You gotta dodge the cars.
Huh?
You gotta dodge the cars.
Dodge the cars. Next time I'll talk to you like that. You all should open your mouth and talk. How you chant? Chant clearly next time. This is a lazy way of speaking. Okay, in the next paragraph, Srila Prabhupada says, one must hear about the avatars. So that means you have to hear about the pastimes of all the different avatars. So the Bhagavatam, everything is there very nicely. And that is one of the reasons why we should all attend Srimad Bhagavatam classes. So that we can have the opportunity to hear these pastimes of avatars. Otherwise, you all mostly will watch some Bollywood show, Avatar, right? Some guy, or whatever. And then you think that is the Samam Bonam, that is the truth. But the directors make their own decisions to say, now I think there's now one is Hanuman thing that's going on, I think in India or whatever. So they're all watching it, and there's so many things Hanuman is doing. He even met Ram before as a small boy. So they're coming with all kinds of extra information that has never been revealed in the scripture. So we shouldn't watch all those things. Okay, we should be very careful. But rather, in the company of devotees, we should hear about these narrations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is, Prabhupada says, Avatar Katha. Okay. So he also says hearing and chanting these narrations is completely pious. Now, pious doesn't mean like ordinary piety. This is Krishna. You can say Krishna pious. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna, Punya Shavana Kirtana. One who hears and chants can become punya, purified of material contamination, rather purified into thinking of Krishna. And he continues in the next paragraph. Srila Prabhupada says, whenever there are references to the avatars, religious principles are established. Right? So the Lord comes to make sure they follow a certain rule. Right in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what does the Lord say? Yada? Okay, so he comes to establish religious principles. And he says, Paritranaya Vinashaya Duskrita. So those who go against religious principles, he will kill them. So in fact, if you read the Krishna's Canto, Krishna's book, full of killing, right or not? Correct or not?
Yeah.
Yes. Only a few parts where there's intimacy he reveals. That's what we are aiming for. But we shouldn't deny the killing. So, right? People don't want to know about killing. They all want the Gopi Lila, Gopi Katha, Gopi Rasa, Rasa Lila, all those things. But actually we should know everything about Krishna. Then we will understand him properly. Right? Okay, then Srila Prabhupada also says, the Krishna consciousness movement is spreading all over the world with two aims. One, to establish Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, And he says to kill all the pretenders who falsely present themselves as avatars. Now, he's not saying we kill them. Okay, don't think like that. He's saying using our intelligence, the way we preach, we will stop these pretenders. Okay, like that. Yeah. Otherwise, we'll be killing so many people. The preachers of Krishna consciousness movement must carry this conviction very carefully within their hearts and kill the demons who in many tactful ways vilify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. If we take shelter of Narasimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj, it will be easier to kill the demons who are against Krishna and to thus re-establish Krishna's supremacy. Again, he's not physically killing, okay? Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, the original Lord. Prahlad Maharaj is our Guru and Krishna is our worshipable God. Prabhupada likes Prahlad Maharaj a lot because he stood against Hiranyakashipu very forcefully. So Srila Prabhupada wants that mood when we go out and preach. As advised by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Guru Krishna Prasadi Paya Bhakti Lata Beach. That means the previous verse is Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagyo Anji. We are wandering in this universe, up and down, demigod planet, lower planetary system, Vaitya Loka, come here. But Guru Krishna Prasad, someone or some devotee is compassionate, they are giving us this Bhakti Lata Beach. They are invoking that thing. So we should take that opportunity, grasp it. Don't wait for next life. You don't know when you'll come back also. So therefore, if we can be successful in getting the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj and also that of Narasimhadev, then our Krishna consciousness movement will be extremely successful. So therefore, take up and chant so you can help others. Right or not? Go out and preach and tell them this is a better way. Show them you are happy. Don't go with your face long and dragging. Then they'll say, look at the devotees. They are so happy. I don't want to be happy like that. So, in the last paragraph, Srila Prabhupada again mentions the demon Hiranyakashipu had so many ways to try to become God himself. He tried. But although Prahlad Maharaj was chastised and threatened in many ways, he rigidly refused to accept his powerful demoniac father as God. Following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, we should reject all the rascals who pretend to be God. So that's what we should do, not kill them. We must accept Krishna and his incarnations and no one else. Very simple. You'll see before Kali Yuga is over, there will be many Kalki avatars. There will be, you will see.
There are
Currently already there. So therefore we should quote the verses and say, in the 12th canto it says when the Lord will come again. So these people cannot pretend. That's another reason why you all should read Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada's books. Now texts 43 and 44.
Prahradasyanucharitam Mahabhagavatasya Bhaktir Jnanam Viraptischa Yatartyam chasya vaihare Sargasthitapya yashasya Gunakarmanuvarnanam Paravaresham Sananam Kalena Vyaktayo Mahan.
This narration describes the characteristics of the great and exalted devotee Prahlad Maharaj. His staunch devotional service, his perfect knowledge, and his perfect detachment from material contamination. It also describes the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers has described the transcendental qualities of the Lord and has also described how the various abodes of the demigods and demons, regardless of how materially opulent, are destroyed by the mere direction of the Lord. So, again, a nice purport about the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says, Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with descriptions of the characteristics of various devotees. So, so far we have read first 6 cantos, all about devotees only, and how the Lord interacts with them. And so Prabhupada says, with reference to the service of the Lord. This Vedic literature is called Bhagavatam because it deals with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His devotee. By studying Srimad Bhagavatam under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master, one can perfectly understand the science of Krishna, the nature of the material and spiritual worlds, and the aim of life. So we need to know what this aim of life is very clearly. Then your interest will turn to knowing what we are, and then you can connect with Krishna. But if you have very loose understanding of the aim of life, then you won't have the interest to actually know more about spiritual activities. Prabhupada continues, Srimad Bhagavatam Amalam Puranam. Perfect, spotless. Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Vedic literature as we have discussed in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, simply by understanding Srimad Bhagavatam, one can understand the science of the activities of the devotees, the activities of the demons, the permanent abode, and the temporary abode. Through Srimad Bhagavatam, everything is perfectly known. Okay? So that is why we need to study Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay?
Prabhu, in this, many places Prabhupada has written right, in the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. Sometimes it looks like that spiritual master is Srila Prabhupada only, right? Is that so?
Means in the disciplic succession.
Right.
Yeah.
So here also it means like under Prabhupada.
In that disciplic succession.
It's not really that bona fide spiritual master means only our guru. That does not mean that. Right?
In the spiritual master means in the disciplic succession.
Guru Parampara.
Must be in the disciplic succession. That's what he means. Bona fide means, for example, I'm sure in the Sri Sampradaya, they are also reading the Bhagavatam. So that is bona fide. Like that. So as long as it is coming in the disciplic succession, if they are studying it properly, that's acceptable. We can say, because we are the ones who are preaching actively, we can say ISKCON is actually now giving this knowledge. Most others cannot give because Mahaprabhu's mercy is given to Srila Prabhupada. So if you are connected to Srila Prabhupada, you have the ability to preach nicely. Yeah, if you follow everything properly. Yeah. Whole world, you see, who's pushing the Vedic culture? Only ISKCON is doing it. So
I have a
therefore,
question there again, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. You said Sri Sampradaya people also read Bhagavatam, right?
yes,
But here it is very clearly given that it is Krishna or the Supreme Personality.
yes.
By Kuta Loka, very little of it is mentioned, right? So then how do they conceive this thing?
Because they understand differently. For them, everything is coming from Narayana. Yeah.
But they know very well the pastimes are all.
They will also understand it differently. Like Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam, they read it differently.
So this is not the book they will be following.
They are.
As it is one.
No, they are following the Puranas, but their acharyas have described it in the way that they feel comfortable with. See, not everyone is attracted to Krishna also. Yeah. Even if they are agreeing to what it says, they may not be attracted to Krishna. They want someone who's in the awe and reverence platform, one who follows everything, rules and regulations, and then they are peaceful. So that kind of bhakti is there for them. Yeah.
So Sri Sampradaya, don't they read Vishnu Purana?
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing they read. Or they read Bhagavatam too.
They have Bhagavatam. Yeah, definitely. But the emphasis is mainly on those other Puranas, maybe, not so much on Bhagavatam. Yeah. But they do read. We shouldn't we shouldn't take the position and think that we are superior. No? The purport is to tell us that if we study the Bhagavatam, you will develop love for Godhead. Okay, so whether your attraction is to Krishna or to Narayana or to Vaikuntanath, it's okay.
No, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking from their perception, how do they?
It doesn't matter. As long as they're worshipping Vishnu, we should be happy. Right? Better they worship Vishnu than to claim themselves to be Vishnu.
Any devotee for that matter is
Yeah.
respectable.
Exactly. So it is not a big deal. The point is how many percentage of people are actually accepting God in this world. So if they say they feel Vishnu is the supreme, good. All glories to them. Hari Bol. So we continue with our emphasis on Krishna. They can emphasize Vishnu. That's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both Krishna and Vishnu are equally powerful. The only difference is one is the original candle, but they all are candles. Same potency. Okay. So therefore, let's not waste time worrying about why they're not accepting that small thing or whatever. From our point, could be a big thing. The goal is that we want to love God and go back to God. So if we go to Goloka, we will go. If they are going to Vaikuntha, so be it. Yeah. Right? So we shouldn't exercise too much into trying to fix everyone the way, tweak everyone. We shouldn't do that. We are not here to tweak people. We are here to give people the ability to go back to God here, the ability to love Krishna, or the ability to love Narayana. That's fine. When you read about Jamil, he goes back to Vaikuntha Loka. We are not saying that's wrong. I don't want to read that. Because where's Krishna? Right? Yeah. So I'm talking, right? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that. So different personalities you read in the Bhagavatam are going to different destination also. Right? Dhruva Maharaj is going also to he goes to Dhruva Loka, but still his destination is with the 400 Narayan form. Like that. Vishmadev is going to where Krishna is Parthasarathi. It's another Vaikuntha planet, like that. Yeah. So, and we are not complaining, right? So we shouldn't worry about those things. Those are not. Those can be done by the intellectuals in our movement, all the big brains who can quote slokas upside down, inside out, and then break apart the words and then give 100 meanings. They can do that. For us, we just chant nicely and go back to Godhead. Right? Our mood should be actually, all of you should think we should do the service and chanting so nicely that when we go back to where Prabhupada and all our devotees are. That's all. Wherever it is, that's fine. Right? Whether it's in Vaikuntha or in Goloka, it's okay. It's fine for me. So that's how you all should think. Huh? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Correct? We shouldn't worry about this one. Then you miss the process of making yourself purified. Like most devotees, they are chanting, they're thinking, am I the gopi? That's nonsense. That's offensive, actually. We shouldn't be thinking. Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it's offensive to think like that. Rather, you should only think I'm a servant. So, whichever place you go, you're still a servant, but in a different capacity. Okay? All right, text 45.
Probably.
Oh, your question?
That's not my question, it was a comment.
Okay, a comment. Make sure you speak nicely. Open your mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
The Sri Samstai people, even though they worship Narayana, they're better than the Mayavadis, right?
They're better than the Mayavadis, definitely. That's what I'm saying. As long as they are with Vishnu or Krishna is the supreme Vishnu, so yes.
Mayavadis are not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
They can't get past the Brahmajyoti.
They can't go even to Brahmajyoti sometimes.
They are offensive, so they are not.
Yeah, they won't go to Brahmajyoti if they're offensive. Alright? Okay? Text 45.
Dharmo Bhagavatanam cha
Dharmo Bhagavatanam cha
Bhagavan Yena Gamyate
Bhagavan yena gamyate
Akhyanesmin Samamnatam
Ajnanismin samanatam
Adhyatmikam Asheshata
Adhyatmikam asheshataha. The principles of religion by which one can actually understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Bhagavata Dharma. In this narration, therefore, which deals with these principles, actual transcendence is properly described. Very nice. Okay, the principles, Bhagavata Dharma. How we know Prahlad Maharaj speaks, right? To the students and so on. So there we understand everything there. To understand the science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prabhupada writes, is the real purpose of education. Okay, so not how to become an engineer, this or that. How to love God. That is the science. We are trying to learn and understand. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, that is the process. One must simply hear about and describe Lord Vishnu and his various incarnations. This narration concerning Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Narasimhadev therefore has properly described spiritual transcendental subjects. Everything is there in this pastime of Prahlad Maharaj. So it's very good to read this pastime. If you have opportunity, go and read again. Chant the verses and you'll find that you will make a lot of purification. Text 46.
Yaetat punyamakyana
Vishnu Kirtaya Shraddhaya Shrutva
Karma Pasarimuchyate. One who hears and chants this narration about the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is certainly liberated from material bondage without fail. So it's a benediction by Narada Muni. So if we chant the pastime of Narasimhadev, you're getting so many. Already Narasimhadev already gave a benediction. Now Narada Muni is also giving another benediction. So lots of benediction. Text 47.
Etatya Adi Purushaya Mugendra Nilam
Etatya Adi Purushasya Mugendra Nilam
Daitendra Yata Pavadam Prayatapateta
Daitendra Yuta Pavadam Prayatapateta
Daityatmajasya Satam Pavarasya Punyam
Daijatmajasya Satam Pavarasya Punyam
Shrutvanubhavamakutto Payameti Lokam
Shrutvanubhavamakutto Payameti Lokam. Prahlad Maharaj was the best among exalted devotees. Remember in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said, among all the Mahajans, Prahlad Maharaj is the best. Anyone who, with great attention, hears this narration concerning the activities of Prahlad Maharaj, the killing of Hiranyakashipu, and the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narasimhadev, surely reaches the spiritual world, where there is no anxiety. So you all got the benediction. Hopefully you'll hold on to it. Yeah, we all hope to hold on and constantly think it. Text 48.
Yuyam Loke Vataburi Bhaga
Yugam Loke Vataburi Bhaga
Lokam Punana Munayo Viyanti
Lokam Punana Munayo Viyanti
Yeshangrahan Avasatiti Sakshat
Yesham Grihan Avasatiti Sakshat
Buddha Param Brahma Manusya Lingam
Buddha Param Brahma Manusya Lingam. Narada Muni continued, my dear Maharaj Yudhishthira, all of you, the Pandavas, are extremely fortunate. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, lives in your palace just like a human being. Great saintly persons know this very well, and therefore they constantly visit this house. Everybody comes to see Maharaj, you see, but actually they want to see the Supreme Personality of God. So, Prabhupada writes, after hearing about the activities of Prahlad Maharaj, a pure devotee should be very anxious to follow in his footsteps. But such a devotee might be disappointed, thinking that not every devotee can come to the standard of Prahlad Maharaj. I mean, but it's a nature of a pure devotee. He thinks like that. But because this is the mood of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He's very advanced, but still he's thinking, how can I be like Prahlad Maharaj? Of course, right? If you hear the pastime, you'll think, wow, they're so great, like that. But Narad Muni is saying, you are so much more fortunate because the Lord is living with you. Whereas in Prahlad, he just came and left. So therefore, naturally, he's very fortunate. They were not less fortunate. They were as good as Prahlad Maharaj. Okay. In the last paragraph, Prabhupada says, any pure devotee who is constantly conscious of Krishna is naturally very fortunate. The word nirloke, meaning within the material world, indicates that before the Pandavas, there had been many, many devotees, such as the descendants of the Yadu dynasty and Vashishta, Marichi, Kashyapa, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva, who were all extremely fortunate. The Pandavas, however, were better than all of them because Krishna himself lived with them constantly. Narada Muni therefore specifically mentioned that within this material world, Nirloke, the Pandavas were the most fortunate. Right? Because he was one of the family members. What became their family member? Cousin. Amazing. Text 49. Right.
Saba ayam brahma mahadvimirya
Ayam Brahma Mahadvimrigya
Kaivalya nirvana sukhanubhuti
Kaivalya nirvana sukhanubhuti
Ya suhridva kalmatuleya
Priya Surva Matuleya
Atman haniyo vidikrit kuruscha
Atmaraniyo vidikrit puruscha.
The impersonal Brahman is Krishna himself because Krishna is the source of the impersonal Brahman. He is the origin of the transcendental bliss sought by great saintly persons. Yet he, the Supreme Person, is your most dear friend and constant well-wisher and is intimately related to you as the son of your maternal uncle. Indeed, he is always like your body and soul. He is worshipable. Yet he acts as your servant and sometimes as your spiritual master. So amazing relationship there. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I'm the source of the Brahman effulgence. So Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita. The impersonal Brahman is my partial manifestation. And there is no truth superior to me. Matta parataram nanyat. Kimchirasti dhananjaya. That same Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, acted as the supreme friend and relative of the Pandavas, and sometimes he even acted as their servant by carrying a letter from the Pandavas to Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So he became a messenger, remember, to parley for peace. But they didn't like that. Because Krishna was a well-wisher of the Pandavas, he also acted as Guru by becoming the spiritual master of Arjuna at the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna accepted Krishna as his spiritual master. Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. And Krishna sometimes chastised him. For example, the Lord said, Asochan anvasochastvam pragyavadam shavasase. While speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. This is talking about the soul and the body. The Lord also said, Kutasva kasmalam idam vishame samupastitam. How has these impurities come upon you, my dear Arjuna? He says. Such was the intimate relationship between the Pandavas and Krishna. In the same way, a pure devotee of the Lord is always with Krishna through thick and thin. His way of life is Krishna. This is a statement of the authority, Sri Narada Muni. So these are very important points Srila Prabhupada is highlighting. He's showing us how the Pandavas had a relationship with Krishna. It doesn't mean we can't have such a relationship. The problem is we should act on that. The processes Prabhupada has given us. If we act on that, we will have a relationship with Krishna in one of the 5 rasas. And once we get that, we will always be with Krishna. In another sense, when you are doing whatever activities in your life, you should always have Krishna. Should be always be thinking, Krishna, give me the intelligence so I can do this properly. Krishna, please protect me while I do this for you, for my family, whatever. That is the way of life of Krishna. That's why Krishna says, whatever you do, Arjuna, offer it unto me. Like that. Yat karosi yat juhosi. Huh? Mat arpanam. Everything should be offered unto me. Don't worry, you just say the verses. Just say. Don't be afraid to say. Text 50.
Nayasya sakshat bhavapan.
Yeah.
Nayasya sakshat bhavapan majadibi. Rupam dhyavastutayo pavarnitam. Maulena bhaktya pasamena pujita. Datam esha sasatvatam pati.
Exalted persons like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma could not properly describe the truth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. May the Lord, who is always worshipped as the protector of all devotees by great saints who observe vows of silence, meditation, devotional service, and renunciation, be pleased with us. Anyway, text 51.
Sa esha Bhagavan Rajan. Vyatanod vihitam yasha. Purarudrasya devasya. Mayena nantamayena.
My dear King Yudhishthira, long ago in history, a demon known as Maya Danava, who was very expert in technical knowledge, reduced the reputation of Lord Shiva. In that situation, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, saved Lord Shiva. Now in the Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada writes, Lord Shiva is known as Mahadeva, the most exalted demigod. And therefore Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that although Lord Brahma did not know the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shiva could have known them. This historical incident proves that Lord Shiva derives power from Lord Krishna, the Para Brahman. So in another sense, it shows that even the demigods accept the supreme position of Lord Krishna. Text 52.
What is the story?
Rajavacha. Kasmin karmani devasya. Mayo Hanjagadishruti. chopachita kirta
Yata chopachita kirtihi
krishnena nena katyatam
Maharaj Yudhishthira said, for what reason did the demon Maya Danava vanquish Lord Shiva's reputation? How did Lord Krishna save Lord Shiva and expand his reputation again? Kindly describe these incidents. He's asking for you. Text 53.
Prabhuji, isn't Narada Muni just bringing up a random topic?
Yeah, it seems like it's a random topic. Yeah. Text 53. It's not random, it's all connected. Let's go. Text 53.
Vinayada vacha nirjita asura deva Yudhaneno pabrimhitai Mayina paramacharyam Mayam sharanamayayu
Narada Muni said, when the demigods, who are always powerful by the mercy of Lord Krishna, fought with the Asuras were defeated, and therefore they took shelter of Maya Danava, the greatest of the demons. Now, the reason is Prahlad Maharaj is a pure devotee. Now, there are other categories of saintly people who don't know the potency of Krishna. So, this pastime he is relating that they then understand the position of worship of Krishna also. Okay. Text 54, 55.
Sanemaya purastisho Haimiravyayase vibu Durlakshyapa samyoga Durvit arkya parichada Tamiste surya senanyo Lokam strin Steshwaran Nipa Smaranto Nasayam Chakru Purva Vairam Alakshita
Okay, when you all read, you all should see the words properly. Okay? Pronounce properly. Don't add your own words. Translation. Maya Danava, the great leader of the demons, prepared 3 invisible residences and gave them to the demons. These dwellings resembled airplanes made of gold, silver, and iron, and they contained uncommon paraphernalia, just like huge cities. My dear King Yudhishthira, because of these 3 dwellings, the commanders of the demons remained invisible to the demigods. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the demons, remembering their former enmity, began to vanquish the 3 worlds, the upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. They got nothing to do, no? When you think about it. Because goal of life is different. So by conquering, they think they can enjoy life. That's the difference. They're thinking they defeat the demigods, they can get to drink the somaras. Things like that. So many reasons for. But they're not thinking of long-term goals like going back to the spiritual world. Or in their vocabulary, they don't accept their spiritual world. Just like many scientists nowadays, people don't accept their spiritual world as God. Like that. So therefore, when you, from a devotee's point of view, when you read it, seems funny. But actually, from their point of view, it's very serious. They want to conquer and have some enjoyment. Just like we work so hard so that we can get something to enjoy. You know? Same philosophy. Yeah. Text 56.
Tataste Seshwara Loka Upasadishwaramnata Trahinastava Kandeva
All right, when I say the next verse, you must be chanting. Don't look for the verse. Why are you not paying attention? All of you. Translation. Thereafter, when the demons had begun to destroy the higher planetary systems, the rulers of those planets went to Lord Shiva, fully surrendered unto him and said, "Dear Lord, we demigods living in the three worlds are about to be vanquished. We are your followers. Kindly save us." So they went to Shiva to petition, ask him to help. Out of kindness, he's easily pleased. He said yes. Text 57.
Atanugrihya Bhagavan
Atanugrihya Bhagavan
Mahavaisteti Suran Vibho
Mahavaisteti Suran Vibhu
Saram Dhanusi Sandaya
Saram Dhanusi Sandaya
Pureshvastram Vamunchata.
Pureshvastram Vamunchata. The most powerful and able Lord Shiva reassured them and said, "Do not be afraid." He then fixed his arrows to his bow and released them toward the three residences occupied by the demons. Text 58.
Tatani Vana Ishava
Tato Nivarna Ishava
Utpetu Surya Mandala
Utpetu Surya Mandala
Yata Mayuka Sandoha
Yata Mayuka Sandoha
Nadrishyanta Puroyata
Nadrishyanta Puroyata. The arrows released by Lord Shiva appeared like fiery beams emanating from the sun globe and covered the three residential airplanes, which could then no longer be seen. It's like they can take a science fiction movie. Like that, no? Power beams, laser shots like that. Text 59.
Srista Vyasava Sarve
Tai Srishta Vyasava Sarve
Nipetos Mapurakasha
Nipetus Mapurakasha
Tanani Yamahayogi
Tananiya Mahayogi
Maya Kuparashekshipat
Maya Kuparaseshipat. Attacked by Lord Shiva's golden arrows, all the demoniac inhabitants of those three dwellings lost their lives and fell down. Then the great mystic Maya Danava dropped the demons into a nectarian well that he had created. So he had some mystic power. So it is what, just like Sukracharya also had this potency to give life again. Prabhupada says it's known as Mrita Sanjeevayita. So Sukracharya also had some where he revives all the demons when they were defeated by Indra, Bali Maharaj and all of them. That story in the next canto. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the Asuras, however, instead of becoming devotees of Krishna, utilize this mystic power for their personal sense gratification. So they do a lot of austerities to get a lot of this potency to be able to manipulate material energy. But they do it so that they can enjoy themselves instead of using it in the service of Krishna. Maya Danava, for example, is mentioned here as Mahayogi, a great mystic. But his business was to help the Asuras. Nowadays, we are actually seeing that there are some yogis who cater to the senses of materialists. And there are impostors who advertise themselves as God. Maya Danava was such a person, a god among the demons, and he could perform some wonderful feats, one of which is described here. He made a well filled with nectar and dipped the Asuras into that nectarian well. This nectar was known as Mrita Sanjeevayita, for it could bring a dead body to life. Mrita Sanjeevani is also an Ayurvedic preparation. So now everyone's going to look for that. There's a kind of liquor that invigorates even a person on the verge of death. So if you're dying, if you take that Mrita Sanjeevani, then you'll become strong and alive. So we are not interested in that. We just want to go back to Godhead. Yeah?
It says Mrita Sanjeevayatari here.
Yeah, what?
Instead of Mrita Sanjeevani, it says Mrita Sanjeevayatari.
Same.
He's saying it's not with the Sanjeevani, but
No, there is. You're not reading the whole thing.
It's over here.
Yeah, there's two. So don't argue.
Both of them are Mrita Sanjeevayatari.
Jivani and Mrita
Different
Sanjeevayita.
version.
So there's two different words.
Different version. That's it.
a different version of book. In my book also it's
Okay, your books are wrong. Mine is correct. I told you already, the latest version. Okay. So it's the first one is Mrita Sanjeevayita. The nectar is known as that. And then Mrita Sanjeevani is an Ayurvedic preparation.
Sanjeevani.
Okay. So you can.
Here it is Sanjeevani.
Yeah, this is wrong.
Wrong.
We need to fix that.
Old edition.
Huh?
We all have old edition.
Old edition. And that was also wrong. Mrita Sanjeevayitari is wrong also. It should be Mrita Sanjeevayita. Okay. Alright, never mind. We'll give you the word later. Text 60.
Siddhamritara Sasprishta
Siddhamritara Sasprishta
Vajrasara Mahojasa
Vajrasara Mahojasa
Uttasur Megatalana
Uttastur Megatalana
Vaidyuta Eva Vanaya.
Vaidyuta eva vanaya. When the dead bodies of the demons came in touch with the nectar, their bodies became invincible to thunderbolts. Endowed with great strength, they got up like lightning penetrating clouds. So in one sense, the soul didn't leave, so they came back alive. Text 61.
Vilokya Vagna Sankalpam
Vilokya Sankalpam
Vimanaskam Vishadvajam
Vimanaskam Vishadvajam
Tadayam Bhagavan Vishnus
Tadayam Bhagavan Vishnus
Tatropayam Akarpayat
Tatropayam Akalpayat. Seeing Lord Shiva very much aggrieved and disappointed, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, considered how to stop this nuisance created by Maya Danava. Text 62.
Vatsastasya Tada Brahma
Vatsastasya Tada Brahma
Swayam Vishnu Ayam Higo
Swayam Vishnu Ayam Higo
Pravishya Tripuram Kale
Pravishya Tripuram Kale
Rasakupamritam Papao
Rasakupamritam Papao. Then Lord Brahma became a calf and Lord Vishnu a cow. And at noon they entered the residences and drank all the nectar in the well. So this is their spy technology. Text 63.
Te surahi pashyanto
Te surahira pashyanto
Jnanya sedan vimohita
Nanya sedan vimohitaha
Tad vignaya mahayogi
Tad vignaya mahayogi
Rasapalam idam jago
Rasapalam idam jago
Mayam vitsoka sokartan
Smayam vishoka sokartam
Smaran deva gatim chatam
Smayam daiva gatim chatam. The demons could see the calf and cow, but because of the illusion created by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demons could not forbid them. The great mystic Maya Danava became aware that the calf and cow were drinking the nectar, and he could understand this to be the unseen power of providence. Thus he spoke to the demons who were grievously lamenting. So he had that vision, or he's so powerful, he knew there was something wrong. But he didn't say it's God, he says it's due to providence. They can accept those kind of things, but it's very hard for them to accept position of God, you know. Sometimes people are like that. They will say, yeah, I can understand this faith. Faith is very powerful, but they will not say God is powerful. It's interesting, but that's how they are. They could be agnostic. That means they don't accept God, but they can accept all mystical powers like that. They can accept those things. Alright, text 64.
Atasa Shakti Viswabi Deva Suronaronyo Va Neshwaro Atmano Nyasya Vadishtam Daivena Pohitam Dayo
Maya Danava said, what has been destined by the Supreme Lord for oneself, for others, or for both oneself and others cannot be undone anywhere or by anyone, whether one be a demigod, a demon, a human being, or anyone else. Okay. So here he is telling them, Prabhupada writes in the purport, however I plan, you plan, or both of us plan, the Lord has planned what is to happen. That means fated. No one's plan will be successful without his sanction. So in some ways they understand as a superior person. We may make our own various plans, but unless they are sanctioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, they will never be successful. Hundreds and millions of plans are made by all kinds of living entities. But without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, they are futile. So when we make plans, we should always confirm with the devotees, with the acharyas and so on. I'm doing this, is it okay? Like that. Okay. Text 65 and 66.
Atasa Shakti Viswabi
Sambho Pradhanikam Yadat Tapo Vidya Triyadihi Ratam Sutam Vajambahan Dhanurvarma Saradhiyat Sanmadoratam Astaya Narada Muni continued, thereafter Lord Krishna, by his own personal potency, consisting of religion, knowledge, renunciation, opulence, austerity, education, and activities, equipped Lord Shiva with all the necessary paraphernalia, such as a chariot, a charioteer, a flag, horses, elephants, a bow, a shield, and arrows. When Lord Shiva was fully equipped in this way, he sat down on the chariot with his arrows and bow to fight with the demons. So the Lord, on his own, helped his devotee to be ready for the war. It's like he has so much, love for his devotee that he doesn't want to see him perish. Kanteya pratijana me bhakta pranashyati. So Bhakta Vatsalya. He wants to help him also. He wants to serve him also. Text 67.
Saram Dhanushri Sandaya
Sharanam Shri Sandaya
Murte Vijitiswara
Muhurte Vijitishvara
Dada Hatena Turvedya
Dadahatena Durvedya
Arotate Puronripa
Arodatri Puronipa. My dear King Yudhishthira, the most powerful Lord Shiva joined the arrows to his bow, and at noon he set fire to all three residences of the demons and thus destroyed them. So again, because they were alive, he destroyed them. But this time they don't have the nectar. Text 68.
Divi Dunda Bayoneder
Divi Dunda Bayoneder
Vimana Sata Sankula
Vimana Sata Sankula
Devarshi Pitrisiddesha
Devarshi Pitri Siddesha
Jayeti Kushamotkarai
Jayati Kusumottarahi
Avakiran Jagurhishta
Avakiran Jagurhishta
Nandito Sarogana.
Naraditoshaksarogana. Seated in the airplanes in the sky, the inhabitants of the higher planetary systems beat many kettle drums. The demigods, saints, pitas, siddhas, and various great personalities showered flowers on the head of Lord Shiva, wishing him all victory, and the apsaras began to chant and dance with great pleasure. They're like having a party. Text 69. We'll do it at the end. Evam Dadva Purasishyo Bhagavan Puraharnipa Brahmadivi Stuyamanaha Swamdama Pratyapadyata. Now King Yudhishthira, thus Lord Shiva is known as Tripurari, the annihilator of the three dwellings of the demons, because he burned these dwellings to ashes. Being worshipped by the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva returned to his own abode. Text 70.
Evam Vidanasya Hare Samayaya.
Evam Vidanasya Hare Swamayaya.
Vidambamanasya Nilokamatmana.
Vidambamanasya Nilokamatmana.
Vidyani Gitani Shibir Jagatgurur.
Vidyani Gitani Shishir Jagatguru.
Lokam Punananya Param Vadami Kim.
Logam Punanani Avaram Vadami Kim. The Lord Sri Krishna appeared as a human being, yet he performed many uncommon and wonderful pastimes by his own potency. How can I say more about his activities than what has already been said by great saintly persons? Everyone can be purified by his activities simply by hearing about them from the right source. You have to hear from devotees. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, Bhagavad Gita and all the Vedic literatures fully explain that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna appears in human society as an ordinary human being, but acts very uncommonly for the well-being of the entire world. One should not be influenced by the illusory energy and think Lord Krishna to be an ordinary human being. Avajananti Mahamuttam. Those who really seek the absolute truth come to the understanding that Krishna is everything. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Such great souls are very rare. Nonetheless, if one studies the entire Bhagavad Gita as it is, Krishna is very easy to understand. The Krishna consciousness movement is just trying to make Krishna known all over the world as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swam. If people take to this movement seriously, their lives as human beings will be successful. Thus end the Bhakti and the purports of the 7th Canto, 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Radha Vestamam Exalted Devotees. Okay, what question?
Why did he keep on saying at noon Lord Shiva did this? Like at noon something happened.
Because that's when it happened, noontime.
Why is everything at noontime? Why couldn't it be at the morning when they're still sleeping?
That is not a good question. Because he did it at noontime. So Narada is saying he did it at noontime.
Everything's at noontime then.
Yeah, war can happen at any time, Baba. Not that you only sleeping and waking, then they fight. He already fought them in the morning and they all died and then they became alive. So noontime he killed them again.
Or you can fight them, or you could that's
Huh?
nothing.
Yes, it doesn't make sense what
No,
you
he can't fight them when they're sleeping because that would be against the structure.
Not true. They're already fighting. That's why he's fighting. You're speculating too much. Yeah.
One question.
Yes.
So there was the description of Sarupimukti for the demons. Sarupimukti.
Yes.
Sarupimukti.
Krishna kills them, then they get them.
So they get the form of the Lord.
Vaikuntha form.
So also these forms, like these liberations, they do not talk about what relation are they liberated. Like is it Sarishti means what? in the same planet.
Sarupya.
Sarupya
Yeah,
is
it's in the
same
same. It
form.
has to be in the same place. Whether it's Sarupya, Sashya, Samisti, or Salokya, it all means it has to be in the same Vaikuntha.
Yeah. So, Sarupya includes Salokya.
Yeah.
Like that, right? So they are,
In the sense like that.
and the relation can be anything.
Generally, if it's Vaikuntha, there's only
That's
they have different relationship also, but it's all based on the Dasya relationship. But in all endeavors. Just like if you go to Ayodhya, there's father and mother relationship, but it's also in all endeavors. In Dwaraka also, but still less all endeavors, but it's still there. Yes. Okay. All right.